All right, we're going to try this again. It's Junk Wax Genius, the channel on YouTube where we open old baseball cards and talk about it. We had some audio problems in the first take about 10 minutes ago. I'm hopeful you all can hear me now. We'll call it take two. Can you hear me now? I've got a pile full of packs on the tabletop. We've got a 1993 Topps rack pack. You've got multiple attempts at a gold card in this one, 3 Topps gold cards in every pack. This is where we might find the Derek Jeter rookie card. Sounds like the audio is finally working. What a relief. Thank you, guys. And I say guys because I've seen the YouTube, I've seen the metrics, and I know the truth. But yeah, we got a huge pile on the tabletop here of all these packs. Whether you're with me for all of them or not, great. It's what I want to do tonight. So thank you for being here. I appreciate you watching the channel and giving me the shot in the first place to do something like this, where I open old baseball cards and other people watch it and comment about it. That's blowing my mind that it's a real thing that actually happens. So we've got some Fleers, some Scores, some Topps. If you've got requests, pop them into the chat. I'll try to get to them as I can. One thing I want to mention for sure is that we're going to do some 91 Topps and Bowman. I did these as a feature the other day because I got a blacklight flashlight. This little guy throws a little glowing light on the cards. So we'll check to see if the Topps cards, the Bowman cards, maybe even some Topps football cards glow in the dark. So stay tuned for those. All right, I'll make some room here on my desktop, and we'll get into things with the 1993 rack pack of Series 1 Topps. It's where we might find the Derek Jeter gold card. I'm excited about that. How's everybody doing tonight? Thank you for being here. Whether you're skipping football or whatever you were watching, or you've got something on a second screen, I appreciate it. All right. Hey, everybody. Thank you for being here again. I can't say it enough. It's just a thrill for me that I can do something like this and share it. It's fun. So we're going to begin with 93 Topps Series 1 baseball cards, 45 cards. 3 of them are the Topps gold in every pack. This was not necessarily guaranteed in every pack in 1992. It was really a chase thing. So in 93, they decided, hey, this is really popular. We should do more with this. And we'll get into it. I don't know how long Topps produced rack packs. As I think about this now, I don't think I've seen a rack pack from 1994. And if I've seen it, I certainly haven't opened it. And let's see what we get. We'll try to get all 3 cells nice and clean here as we rip down the middle. And the camera finds the focus. All right. We'll give it a second to catch up here. Will it catch up? Let's find out. This is a technical disaster so far. How exciting for you, the viewers. Come on. All right. We'll clear out some space. We'll give the camera a chance to wake up. There we go. There we go. Melito Perez leads off this cell of the 1993 Topps rack pack. Dave Hollins, Scott Service, Joe Oliver, a Scott Livingstone Topps All-Pro rookie card, Andre Dawson, nice, Mariano Duncan, Steve Olin, R.A.P. Steve Olin. We talk on the channel a little bit about Jeff Innes and the way he wore his cap. Very tall on his head. R.A.P. Jeff Innes. There's John Vanderwall, Rick Sutcliffe, Kevin Mitchell, Dave Winfield, and Kevin Seitzer. We get the second cell here out of our rack pack. And that one includes Derek Lilliquist, Ed Nunez, JT Brewitt, Todd Stottlemyre, Wes Chamberlain, Kirk McCaskill, Oral Hershiser, nice. Rusty Meacham, back at the old Cleveland Stadium. I recognize that outfield anywhere. Mike Munoz, David Hulse, Roger Pavlik, Juan Gonzalez. Fantastic. Coming off just a phenomenal 1992 season for Juan Gone. Incredible. Scott Livingstone and Trevor Wilson. All right, third cell. This has to be where the gold cards are. If they're not, I think we'll all be mad. There's John Jaha starting us off. John Jaha. Jose Melendez. There's some gold card action. Try to get it just right in the light so you can read it. Well, it's Mitch Williams. Of course it is. Or Mike Williams. My mistake. That's how hard it is to read these gold cards in the light. Mike Williams. Pete Harnish. Nice photo there for Pete. Kind of looking like a stadium club, in my opinion. And Luis Sojo. Our 3 gold cards, kind of sandwiched in there. So hard to preview, hard to pick. We continue with Kevin Kozlowski. Okay. Norm Charlton. I don't know why Steve Wilson was backwards, but Steve Wilson was backwards. Mike Hartley. Scott Bankhead. Herm Winningham. Tom Henke with the Blue Jays. There's a legend, Cal Ripken. Nice card there for Cal. Kent Merker. Chris Sabo. A checklist. I'm going to put that aside. And Brian Hunter. Well, all right. We opened our 93 Topps rack pack. We got 3 gold cards out of it. None of them Derek Jeter. All right. We'll deal with that. As we say here on the channel, we get what we get, and we don't get upset. All part of building these sets. All right. I'm going to take a minute here to catch up on comments. Thank you again, everybody, for tuning in here tonight. Exciting that we're spending the evening watching a grown man open old baseball cards and talking about it. Yeah, no Jarek Dieter, alas. All these cards, none of them Jarek Dieter. I'm going to move to 87 Topps. I don't know why I'm picking 87 Topps, just that I saw it on top of a stack off to my left, and it's iconic. We got 17 cards. Bubblegum cards, you all know the deal. If you're a watcher of the channel, you understand that the cards are not made of bubblegum. They're printed on cardstock. Please, please do not chew them. We'll open these cards. There's the gum. If you want to watch a grown man chew gum from old cards, there's a different channel for that, not this one. Sorry to disappoint. And we've got Danny Heap, Phil Garner, Tim Tuffle. There's a Pete Rose manager card, different from the Pete Rose player card from 87 Topps. He's in there as well. Yeah, I'm trying to look at this checklist here. I thought Pete Rose had a player card. Yeah, there he is. Card 200. So 393 is the manager. Card 200 is the Pete Rose player card. RJ Reynolds, Jimmy Key, Bill Russell, Lou Piniella, another manager card. Every boy's dream. Johnny Ray, Tommy John, Floyd Rayford, Willie Wilson, Dave Bergman, Bill Campbell, Tom Brunansky, Chuck Finley, and perennial all-star George Bell. Okay. Well, not the worst pack of 87 tops I've ever seen, but none of the key rookies. Will Clark, my PC guy, Barry Larkin, Barry Bonds. There may be other guys named Barry in the set. Jose Canseco. I still consider Mark McGuire's 87 tops a rookie card, even if others don't necessarily. Uh, I know that he had that card in 85 tops, but he didn't have any major league stats at the time, nor to my knowledge was he like even on a major league roster. So I don't know how that can be a rookie card if he's not even technically in the major leagues. Leave your comments. We got a couple packs of football cards from 1991. I'm including 1991 here on purpose for tops because maybe like 1991 baseball, they'll glow in the dark. We'll find out together. So we've got 1991 tops, 1991 Fleer. We got some Pro Visions, some All Pro limited edition cards in here, 14 cards from Fleer in wax paper. And let's open them together. If you are a regular on the channel, you understand that I am not a very knowledgeable person about football cards. So we do the best we can. All right, we begin with Brian Jordan. What a plain design. These look like baseball cards from like the 1800s. You get a player photo on a weird gradient background, just the name, team, position. Like the guy in charge of designing these waited until the very last minute and was like, "Oh no, I need to design 1991 Fleer football cards." All right, Brian Jordan, two-sport star though, by the way. Brian Jordan. Let's not forget how remarkable it was to have guys like Brian Jordan on the field. Vaughn Johnson. They're going every which way, this way and that. Pierce Holt, James Lofton, Richard Dent, the legendary Richard Dent, Jonathan Hayes. I kind of like, and we'll get to it when we talk about tops. I kind of like that it's just the guy against a plain background, because in a lot of cases with football cards, they might have the guy like among a scrum of contact at the line of scrimmage, and you're left to pick out who we're talking about here. Here it's very clear, like that's Jonathan Hayes. A league leaders card for Phil Simms. Randy Grimes, like in this case, he's an offensive lineman, clearly a quarterback. So we're left with, just by process of elimination, that's Randy Grimes. Is he fully offensive line though? Like he clearly looks like a center. Maybe he played more positions. I don't know. Eugene Lockhart, Bob Golick, before he was a co-star in Saved by the Bell, Bob Golick. Calvin Williams. He says Eagles wide receiver. So of the two players here, only one of them is wearing the Eagles uniform. Darrell Green, Robert Clark, and Tim McKyer. Again, I'm going to say I'm a fan, or I appreciate how they isolated the player on the plain background, because sometimes it gets really busy back there. All right, let's go on to 91 Topps Football, 16 cards. The special 1,000-yard club glossy card inside. It says $2 on the price tag. Did I pay $2 for this? I don't remember. Let's see what we've got. More wrapped like Bowman here, kind of like the tamper-proof plastic, than Topps, which is still wax paper. So 91 Football, they've left behind the gum. No gum in here. And they've moved on to plastic wrap instead of wax paper. Our 1,000-yard club rushing card here, Ernest Biner. Cleveland Browns scapegoat, Ernest Biner. And the 91 Topps football cards look a lot like 91 Topps baseball cards. Kind of lazy, in my opinion. Carthon inches ahead. Like, look at all these guys. If you couldn't see that number 44 had Carthon on his back, which one? Which guy? With Fleer, no such trouble. Alexander Wright, Lee Williams, Tom Newberry, Jay Novacek, Mark Lee, sweet eye black on Mark Lee, Another nice landscape card. Harbaugh makes like a halfback. Simon Fletcher, John Hand, Ron Holmes, Buford McGee. Buford McGee. There's Ernest Biner again. Dino Hackett, Mark Royals, and Seth Joyner. All right, let's see if we can find a good example here of a crowded card. I think they did a pretty good job here at Topps of photo selecting to make sure that we weren't overly confused about who's who. Here, Carthon Inches Ahead, they actually did a good job by making sure we could read his nameplate. I don't know. All right, there's our football cards. I don't open a lot of football cards. I don't know a lot about pro football from back in the day. I didn't collect football cards, but in the name of variety, I'll do it for you, the viewer. How about that? All right. As we stick to 1991 as our theme, let's do some Topps and Bowman. Did you watch my episode the other day where I did the black light experiment with 91 Topps? There's some variations on the back of these where there are different intensities, let's say, of the Topps 40th anniversary logo on the back. They call those, some of them, bold backs. And I hope that we'll get some examples that are kind of self-explanatory. 1991 Bowman, I said, I think in that episode that I planned on testing these for glowation, to see if they glow. And I completely forgot. So we'll go over it again here tonight. 1991 Bowman, 1991 Topps baseball. And I'm keeping the 91 Topps football cards just to the side so that we can see their backs as well if they glow under the same black light. All right. I'm going to take a minute, catch up on comments here. Hang on a sec. I'm just going to move my screen so that I can see it a little better. It's more in my line of sight than having to look off to my left and disturb everything. Portal 2099 says, trying to complete a set of glowbacks. To my knowledge, it's only like 250, 300 cards, something like that, that have the glow back. Or, correct me, is it possible to get everything in the glow back form? I honestly don't know. Let's begin with a pack of 91 Topps, wax paper, gum, everything. Possible that we can find a vintage card packaged inside. Instant Win vintage Topps cards. They mean that, like, from day one, card number one of Topps, not day one, card one, because those were bigger. They wouldn't fit in this pack. But it is possible to find a vintage card just collated into the pack here. All right. Let's begin with our 91 Topps. Here's what the backs normally look like. It's Hall of Famer Eddie Murray. You can kind of see how this 40th anniversary logo kind of faint, kind of light colored. We'll get through some other backs and see what we get. There's Eddie Murray, only wearing one hat in this example. Vinny G was paying 25 cents a pack for 91 Topps in 1992. I believe that. That's why this stuff was called junk wax. Even when they were a year old, people were like, no, I don't want it. You take it. There's Pat Tabler, Dwayne Ward, Pete Incaviglia. What an action-packed shot for Pete Incaviglia. There's a Chipper Jones rookie card. Fantastic. Not perfect centering, clearly pulling down to the bottom right here. But Chipper Jones, Larry Wayne Jones Jr. Nice card. We'll take that Chipper and put him aside. We're going to continue on with Gerald Young, Tony Gwynn, fantastic. Rick Aguilera, Jim Leyritz, Glenn Allen Hill, Trevor Wilson. To me, Glenn Allen Hill and Mark Whiten are kind of a matched pair. And if you find the Mark Whiten card, there's potential that his hand is kind of like extending over the left border here, and that's considered an error card and worth 75, 80, 100 bucks in raw condition. I found one tucked away in the Commons box that I had stored at my dad's house for literally decades. Reviewed it a couple of years ago and found that Mark Whiten hand over border error card. and sold it immediately for like 80 bucks. Shane Mack. I don't know who Shane Mack knows at Topps, but he has a disproportionate number of cool baseball cards, in my opinion. Shane Mack, Ruben Sierra, and Kurt Manwaring. Great photo there for Kurt Manwaring. Topps really trying to up the ante on their action photos here in 1991 Topps. All right, we're going to take a look at the backs of these, including Chipper and Tony, for any bold backs. That's where this Topps 40th anniversary logo is significantly darker in some cases. There we go. Jim Leyritz. There's one. Glenn Allen Hill, yes. Trevor Wilson, yes. Shane Mack, yes. Ruben Sierra, yes. Kurt Manwaring, no. So let's look at these side by side in real time. See how dark that Topps 40th logo is for Ruben Sierra? More like the outside border than the inside. But Brady Anderson, kind of faint. That's why these are considered bold backs. And it's like 250, 300 cards in the set have this variation compared to that. Matt Breaks Wax mentions the Chris Hoiles error. Yeah, there are a lot of error cards in 1991 Topps. Different variations of like this outside-inside border combination. But one of the most famous, or I suppose infamous, which as we all know from the movie Three Amigos means more than famous. The most infamous of those errors is probably the Mark Whitten Hanover border. All right, there's Chipper. We'll leave him on top. And let's do a pack of our Bowman. Still gum in the pack. This time, though, they've moved on to, like, you can kind of see it, this shiny cellophane. Please do look through your old stashes. I mean, it's fun just for nostalgia purposes, in my opinion. But you never know kind of who you overlooked back in the day because you didn't know any better. Brett Butler, I was going to say ruined by gum, but that gum just fell right off. So there's Brett Butler. Cool. All right, let's see who we've got in this pack of 1991 Bowman. Juan Gonzalez with that MVP stamp. That's cool. Weird helmet, but a nice MVP. That doesn't mean that he was MVP of like the American League. He was MVP of the American Association. We're still talking minor league baseball for Juan Gon at this time. Excellent. Mike Gallego, Rafael Ramirez, Delino DeShields with the double flap helmet. Kevin Brown. That's cool. There's Brett Butler, flip up, flip down sunglasses. Nice. Bob Walk, Torey Lavulo. I think he's a manager in the minors these days. Chris Johnson, Jaime Navarro, Chili Davis, Tim Spear, Scott Gereltz, and Hojo, Howard Johnson. I'm going to go with Juan Gon as the pick of the pack in that one. Interesting use of this gold foil to stamp on MVP here. All right. We'll do another pack of, we'll do Bowman again. We'll do another pack back-to-back here, 91 Bowman. 14 cards in this tamper-proof or tamper-resistant kind of cellophane wrapper. Yeah, I wasn't necessarily looking for errors because I was a kid and I didn't really know any better. The exception to that was 1989 when my mom drove me to a baseball card show like 20 miles, 25 miles from our house, specifically so that I could buy the 89 Fleer Billy Ripken, which I still have. My mom was awesome and grateful that she let me, that she would go out of her way to do that for me. Hensley Mullins, another one with this MVP stamp. Bam Bam Hensley Mullins, 1990 Player of the Year for the International League. Continue with Bob Malacky, Gerald Clark, Felix Jose, Bud Black, Eric Hansen, Willie Green, Shane Mack. So no great card for him for Bowman. We have to rely on his Topps card for nice photography. Alan Anderson, John Habian, Chris Haney, Eric Karros. I guess this is probably a pre-rookie card for Eric Karros, so we'll keep that one aside. Kirby Puckett, fantastic, and Harvey Pulliam. Everybody wanted that Frank Thomas no name on front error card. If you haven't yet, Speaking of errors from the 90s, friend of the channel, High Heat Stats. If you haven't subscribed to his channel yet, please do. It's kind of similar, like a pack 2 or 3 at a time. And he gives you a little more trivia on screen than verbally than I do. But he has a really excellent video about why it is so difficult to find the Frank Thomas no name on front. Partly because it's not an isolated error. There are a few other ones like it where the black ink just didn't apply for whatever reason in 1990 Topps. So if you find any of those other error cards in a case or in a rack pack or whatever, you know, without searching or having to go through the packs themselves, that you have an error pack or case or whatever on your hands, and you're not going to sell that. Come on. So that's why it is so tough, to Vinny G's point, such a tough card to get your hands on, because it's kind of predictable. So again, High Heat Stats. Can't say enough about his channel. Please do subscribe if you haven't yet. Let's open up one more pack of 1991 Topps and see what we can get. We start right off with a bold back from Mike Hartley. Yeah, Vinny G, I agree. You'd have to buy it in the factory sealed cases or some other way of guaranteeing that nobody has been able to snoop. Like it, you don't need to necessarily cheat, but you open enough packs out of one box out of a case to determine if it's an error case. And if you know it's not, you know it's not. You didn't do anything crooked. You just know how to find it. Sean Bosky is our leadoff for this pack. Wally Whitehurst, Chris Nabholz. His glove extends just a little bit over the border, but I don't think that that's considered an error card. Jeff Reardon and his sweet beard. Jeff Blauser, no relation to Jeff Reardon as far as I know. Oh, there's Chris Hoyles. I don't think this is the error card. I think the error for Chris Hoyles is a white border on the inside instead of that gray. Pretty sure. I'm going to put it aside anyway, just in case. Luis Polonia, Stan Belinda, nice shot of his weird windup. Charlie Liebrandt, he's got a weird windup too, in my opinion. Mike Benjamin, Dave Henderson, who finishes in a like 8-way tie for best Henderson, second best Henderson in baseball, according to Ricky. There's Gary Sheffield, excellent. Francisco Olivares, Mark Portugal, the man, and Mike Hartley. We've already seen his back, bold back, absolutely. And let's see what else we've got out of this pack. We'll put the bolds and the others in different piles. Luis Polonia just ruined by gum. Absolutely skunked. Belinda, Benjamin, Henderson, Olivares, Portugal, Hartley. Bunch of bold backs here. All right, we're going to see what the camera can pick up in terms of bold back versus non for Bowman, for Topps. Let's see what we can get. I had a little bit of trouble in testing. You know, believe it or not, the guy that needed an entire second take on the on the live stream in general. Let's see what we can find out. All right, I can see to the naked eye, like this little pile here is glowing, and this one is not. So let's see if we can do Liebrandt and Hartley side by side in a way that the camera can pick up. I think maybe the camera's going to have a little bit of trouble with this. You can kind of see a slight difference in color, that Mike Hartley is a little darker. Yeah, this isn't going to work so well with this camera. I'll do it again the way I did earlier this week with the camera on my phone. That one seems to pick it up a lot better. All right, we'll try it in the dark. Hang on just a second. Hang with me just a moment. All right, we've descended into darkness. We have descended into darkness. You can kind of see it. If I point it right at the card borders, it's not so effective, but you can kind of see like this card a little lighter pink around the edges compared to Mike Hartley. So that's what a glow back is in real time. And then as I move the Bowmans in, they really glow. I wish the camera could pick it up, but to my eye, the B here, this little bottom B in the bottom left, glowing like it's glow in the dark. We'll try to move this a little bit out of the way to give you a better look. But there we can see a little bit of the difference between a glow back and a regular back, and then Bowman glows as well. Let's drag in some of these football cards. Yeah, I don't have all the tops appear like the little pink kind of fluorescent orange here, really glowing under this black light. So football cards glow, Bowman glows. So it seems like for 1991 Topps products, the exceptions are the baseball cards that don't glow. And kind of weird. Yeah, Vinny, I also wondered this, how other Topps cards might glow in the dark. So that might be a feature that we'll do on the regular channel as we go through, 90, 92, probably not, because 92 was such a different production style from 1991. But we got what we got. Yeah, look at the glowing there for those Bowmans. It's almost like when it's just on the edge of the light. If I don't shine the light directly at it, the camera does better. Well, there you have it in real time. What we've got with glow backs, bold backs, Bowmans. How about that? All right. I'll turn the lights back on. We'll get back to normal here on Junk Wax Genius, the channel on YouTube where we open old baseball cards and talk about it. Hang with me for just a second. All right. So now we know Bowman glows. None of these, I mean, every last one of them had the same kind of glowing green on the back. So the exceptions are these Topps cards. Kind of cool. And there are entire communities out there of people that collect just those. Putting together the glow backs, the bold backs, all of that. And now you've seen it in real time. Thank you for being here for that part of the evening. Well, let's see. We've done football cards. We've done the glow backs. Let's do a pack of 1991. We got two packs, actually. 1991 Stadium Club Premier Edition, 12 cards, first series. I wish that we had Smell-O-Vision, because these cards, from what I remember, have an extremely distinctive photo finishing smell. Whether it's the glossy finish. Oh, look at that. Right on the back. If you're a fan of the channel, you know why I'm excited. And a nice parlay into what I had planned for the next little feature here. Our next, not parlay, that's not what I meant. Transition. Wait a second. This might be the greatest pack of 1991 Topps Stadium Club ever. Jason Grimsley, great photo. I love this depth of field where he's in sharp focus and his defender is in the fuzz. That's great. Dave Valley. Nice photo there. I know he's not wearing anything except like no mask, no chest protector. Nice action shot. Jim Gantner, great. Will Clark. All right. Will Clark, my PC guy here on the channel. Did I shuffle the deck and not know it? Because I thought, oh, maybe I did. All right. I thought I had two here. Anyway, Will Clark, PC guy. Mike Greenwell, RIP the Gator. Rest in peace, Mike Greenwell. I had no idea he was so terminally ill. And then to learn about his passing last week, 2 weeks ago, just a shock. Mike Greenwell, rest in peace. Jose Akendo. Oh, it might be the best pack. We got Frank Thomas out of this one. Name on front, but still, Frank Thomas and Will Clark out of the same pack of 1991 Stadium Club Series 1. Glenn Braggs, Cal Daniels. Without Googling, can you tell me Cal Daniels' full first name? Jack Doherty. Bert Blyleven, Hall of Famer Bert Blyleven. Rob Dibble, one of those nasty boys. And I guess that's the end of the pack. But what a pack. Will Clark and Frank Thomas out of 1991 Stadium Club. We're going to do a little test. Yeah, they still smell that good. I could not find these packs when I was, in 1991, when I was a certain age. And to be able to find them now at the price that they're available is just a joy. So I love opening these. Still a thrill, still a rush. Gorgeous cards. And we'll do the second pack before we take a look at the backs, where Topps features the rookie card of the player on the front. Try to get these in focus. And if you're a fan of the channel, we call that cardception, where the card on the front is the card on the back. We'll do a second pack of these. I did not sign up for the Stadium Club membership. I did not. I was probably young enough that my mom would have been really mad at me for spending like allowance money on something like a baseball card club membership. What? A what? For what? There's Kirby Puckett. Excellent. You did sign up, Vinny. Tell us what membership got you, and if you still have any collectibles from back in the day. Kirby Puckett starts off the pack, auspicious. Ozzie Guillen wearing those groundbreaking Chicago White Sox throwbacks. Dave West. I say groundbreaking because now everybody's got like 9 different throwbacks they wear over the course of a season, but they were pretty special back then. John Burkett. Chuck Carey. You got to be careful with Stadium Club that the foil got applied correctly. When it's off register just a little bit, you end up with a card like that. I got a Don Mattingly in a previous episode that was kind of messed up like that. And if that was the one pack of Stadium Club I got, and my Don Mattingly was all screwed up in 1991, I would have been furious. Jeff Gray. There's Andy Van Slyke. Ozzie Smith, excellent. Bill Doran. Greg Vaughn. Kevin Mitchell. And Tim Naring. That's awesome. You still have the membership card and the keychain in particular. That would have been really cool to have. All right, we'll take a quick look through at the back of these cards to see if the rookie card featured on the back is the Stadium Club card we're holding. I don't know if we had any examples here. Greenwell, again, RIP, 87 Topps famously. It's Kalvosky. If you don't have to Google it, his first name is Kalvosky. Kalvosky Daniels. Jack Doherty. Bert Blyleven going way back to 1971. Rob Dibble. Yeah. Chris Sale did not necessarily love all of the Chi Sox throwbacks. I think it was like the 1986, 87 White Sox that he literally cut those up. Will Clark, Frank Thomas, they notably feature with his name on the front. Kirby Puckett, I found the 85 Topps Kirby Puckett card in an episode once. That was exciting. Ozzie Smith, I don't think I've had the luck of opening 78 Topps on the channel. Maybe one day I'll be able to afford it. And we keep working through looking for more 91 Stadium Clubs as the player's rookie card. Not this time. Oh well. Still, gorgeous cards and not a bad result. Kirby Puckett, Ozzie Smith, Frank Thomas, and Will the Thrill. Nice. I mentioned Will Clark. If you're a viewer of the channel, you understand that he's one of my PC guys and one of the guys I feature in my personal collection. And I had this one just off to the side by coincidence to feature, to talk about. So this is the Topps Archive Signature Series, where Topps buys back old cards, has a player autograph them, and then they stamp them with kind of a special graphic. So this one is a certified autograph from last year. And can you count to one? It's a 1 of 1. Exact same card, just Topps bought it back. Will the Thrill signed it, and then they slab it. It's like it's sealed in here. So it's not like a one touch where I'm going to pop this open. It is it's literally a one touch just with a sticker over the magnet. So I'm not going to pop it open, but one of my favorite cards. And to my knowledge, the only Will Clark 1 of 1 that I own. And I just love this card. The way they picture him sliding in. Will Clark not necessarily pictured as a base runner often. So that one plus the depth of field, like he's in focus. The third base coach, not so much, or the defender, I guess. That wouldn't be his coach because they're wearing different uniforms. Just gorgeous photo. I love that card. And that goes along with, speaking of Stadium Club cards, he's got this one. This is a reprint of his 1992 Stadium Club. Hey, hi guys. With the different variations. So this is the base card. And then this one has orange foil. And this one's got black foil. These are reprinted from the, 2021 Stadium Club. You get 31 out of 50 for the orange and 64 out of 99 for the black, but just variations on this photo from the 1992 Stadium Club card with different foil impressions. So part of my Will Clark collection in this awesome black one touch, basically, that I got from the company. That's cool. I think it's cool. I hope you guys do. And then let's revisit, or let's go into more depth with the Will Clark stuff. Will Clark, famous Oriole. Yes. Replacing Rafael Palmeiro at every turn of his career. So we saw that 3-card set of 1992 Stadium Club, or 1992 Stadium Club reprinted for 2021 in different foil variations. This is different variations of the Will Clark Stadium Club card from 2022, I think. I've got the chrome card. I've got this one's considered white or pearl white, black and white, autographed 1991 throwback design, 1991, or another autographed card. I don't remember exactly what the variation is between these two. Stadium Club chrome with orange foil, another Stadium Club chrome, and then the sepia. So a 9-card kind of different variation set for Will Clark. 3 autographs, sepia, black and white, chrome, orange foil, pearl white, and then some, you get the numbers on the back for some of these. Out of 25, out of 25, out of 30, out of 99, out of 25. So, yeah, when I saw that you can get these like 9-card one touch, basically, I've got this one all together. I didn't get these out of packs. I will be very honest with you. I've eBayed, I've scouted and sniped eBay auctions to get these. And this sits on the shelf behind me at my desk. So a little look into my PC. When I talk about Will Clark being one of my guys, that's what I mean. The 9-card set, the 3-card variety, the one of one for Will Clark Stadium Club in particular. And I I picked Stadium Club in particular because it helps me focus. If I didn't focus, God, there'd be so many options. All right. Let's move on. Let's do some Sportflix. I've got a 4-year run of Sportflix here, Magic Motion cards, 87, 88, 89, and 90. So we got 3 cards in each of these packs. Magic Motion Baseball, 9 Magic Motion player photos in 87. They talk about that in 89 and 88 as well. They don't talk about that in 1990. What's wrong with you, 1990? Do you only have a double action photo? All right, let's do it. Sportflix, 87 Collector's Edition. Thank you. I appreciate that. The review there for the Will Clarks. Appreciate that. Collector's offer. You got Best in Baseball, 3 different pictures here. Camera's picking it up nicely. I feel like my phone doesn't do as much justice, so maybe the webcam is the way to go for Sportflix. Dave Parker, Tony Gwynn, and Kevin Bass. Kevin Bass, notably, not even close to the Hall of Fame like the other 2 guys. Got Tom Brunansky. 3 photos of his swing. Important, in my opinion, for Magic Motion, instead of like we might see in some of these other ones. 2 action shots and a headshot, just the headshot disrupting everything. Some trivia tiles here. Got the Braves and the Padres. And Hall of Famer Reggie Jackson going down to one knee for that baseball. Nice card for Reggie. Full color picture on the back. Long stats. Orioles legend. Right up there in the Orioles Hall of Fame with Will Clark. Orioles legend, Reggie Jackson. All right, we'll continue in chronological order with 1988 edition Sportflix. 3 more cards. And we begin with, they put the name on the front here so you don't have to guess. Dan Plesac. That's a nice, crisp image there. You really do get the feeling of him throwing a pitch. Dan Plesac. Some baseball trivia. Here, let's see how sharp you guys are. Again, this is from 1988. What active player set the American League record for the most assists by a shortstop in one season? Tony Fernandez, Ozzie Guillen, Alfredo Griffin, or Cal Ripken Jr.? What active player set the American League record? Tony Fernandez, Ozzie Guillen, Alfredo Griffin, or Cal Ripken Jr.? And then second question, what pitcher won the most games in the decade of the 70s? Tom Seaver, Jim Palmer, Catfish Hunter, or Steve Carlton? We'll come back to that in just a minute after we look at Marty Barrett, again, headshot. And how is it Magic Motion if he's swinging in one, fielding in another, and just looking at you in a third? But we did get Hall of Famer Fred McGriff. 2 shots of his swing and 1 of him smiling. I really think you needed the 3 photos to count that as Magic Motion. Anyway, he's in the Hall of Fame. All right, let's give away the answer to this one without further ado. Cal Ripken Jr. of the Orioles, who had an American League record 583 assists in 162 games in 1984. So in that one, the answer was D, Cal Ripken. And for the pitcher who won the most games in the 70s, the answer is Jim Palmer. 20 games or more, 8 times, a total of 186 victories overall in the 1970s. Now you know. And if you're like me, you'll never forget those two stats. All right, we're going to move on to 89 edition Sportflix. Again, 3 cards, 9 photos. Yes, actual Oriole legend this time. Not sarcastic or ironic Oriole legend. Andy Van Slyke starts us off. Nice look at his swing. Can't argue with like 3 consecutive photos of a one action. Harold Reynolds, ooh, a headshot. Did I only get 1 tile in this one? I did, only 1 tile. Is that supposed to happen? It says 2 Magic Motion trivia cards. I only got 1. The Unforgettables. I'm not going to forget only getting one trivia card. All right, Mike Marshall, Harold Reynolds, Andy Van Slyke. There's 3 action photos, but one of them is clearly not part of the sequence. Come on, Sportflix, what are we doing here? All right, and let's close it out with our 1990. We'll get the focus back. Let the camera relax. Get our focus back. There we go. Double action photo. Searched. Yeah, I mentioned it a lot on the channel that Sportflix doesn't get enough credit for tamper-proof packaging. They were doing it well before Upper Deck even thought of it. Let's let the camera catch up just a moment. Come on. I did get 2 tiles out of this one. And we'll bring it in close. We'll do it this way. Kevin McReynolds. 2 photos. Bo Jackson. Fantastic. Fantastic. The Alhambra asks, I forgot this was happening. Have you pulled a smiley? Not yet. You haven't missed it. Stay tuned. It's not too late. Bo Jackson, fantastic. And Alan Anderson, Mr. Anderson. Big color photo on the back. Most recent season of stats and then career totals. Great card. All right. That was our Sportflix run. Let's talk MVPs here. Baseball trivia quiz. What MVP pitched a 2-hitter in the World Series and lost the game? 4 choices, and they're guys named Dizzy, Bucky, Mort, and Spud. All right. Do you think you know? Leave an answer. And our other card. Name the MVP who played in the most World Series. Mickey Mantle, Yogi Berra, Joe DiMaggio, or Elston Howard. I'm not going to give you a ton of time because we're trying to move on here. C. Mort Cooper lost 2-1 in Game 1 of the 1944 World Series. So it's Mort, like the guy with an actual first name, kind of, instead of Dizzy, Bucky, or Spud. And then our MVP, Yogi Berra. Congratulations, Chuck Finley. 14 World Series in his 19-year career. How about that? All right. Those are the Sportflix. We got some good ones. Fred McGriff, Bo Jackson. Most excited about the Bo Jackson, to be honest. Let's get into this. We talk about the Franken puzzle, or I talk about puzzles a lot on the channel as I open Donruss baseball cards. I've got 3 different years of Donruss cards puzzles here. We've got 91 Rod Carew, unknown year for Yogi Berra, and Roberto Clemente, all pieces 1, 2, and 3. And as you can kind of see from the fronts, the pieces 1, 2, and 3 are all the exact same shape. So what we're going to do is we're going to pop these out, and we're going to start building a puzzle using 1 piece of each set of 3. So from Rod Carew, we're going to go with piece number 1. For Roberto Clemente, this is where we're going to get piece number 2. And we're going to take piece number 3 from Yogi Berra, and we're going to assemble all of these Donruss sets. This one's from a Leaf set. You can tell because it's got this metallic sheen to it. Leaf meaning the upscale Donruss product, not the Canadian version. When we talk about Leaf, this is the upscale, kind of the premium set. We all know, like 1990, that Frank Thomas rookie card, very desirable. This is from that kind of thing. All right, so we're going to do pieces 1, 2, and 3 from 3 different sets. And lo and behold, they all fit together. How about that? They fit together if I mash it hard enough. And I've got all of these other ones to work with. So little by little, we'll go, we'll do another one. I got Willie Stargell, 4, 5, and 6, Roberto Clemente and Willie Stargell. I may not have quite the full variety here, so we'll do Willie Stargell in the middle, surrounded by Roberto Clemente. That sounds fair. A couple of Pirates legends. We'll do Willie in the middle here, his piece number 5. You are watching a live rip of Junk Wax Genius, the channel where a grown man puts together a puzzle on YouTube. Right now, this is the only thing on my channel. You're watching me build a puzzle. And we'll take piece number 6 from Roberto Clemente as well. So Roberto really overrepresented here, but you get the idea that for every year, Donruss reused the exact same puzzle piece shape. And eventually we'll have the entire puzzle put together just using, let's see, 21 times 3, like 63 different puzzle pieces. All right, we'll put that one up at the top. And let's move on. Let's do 1990 score. All right, we saw earlier this week, I found that Bo Jackson shoulder pads card only to have the trivia tile stuck to it, ruining the front. Disappointing, but probably clearly a problem others could commiserate with. More comments for that video than almost any that I've ever had. Corey Snyder starts us off. Marty Barrett, Dave Schmidt, Devon White, Dennis Powell. So I can tell you got one white border card in each of those packs. I can already tell it's not Bo Jackson, nor is it Frank Thomas, but I still would have been excited back in 1990 to get this card. We've got Dennis Powell sticking a little bit. Come on. There you go. Alan Anderson again. Our trivia tile sticking. If this has to be the whole box. Yeah. Ben McDonald. I would have put that one right into the binder back in 1990. More paper loss. Lots of good suggestions to use a hairdryer to kind of soften the bond between the tile and the card. Me being a grown man of a certain age, I don't have a hairdryer. At least not at the ready. So we'll see what we can get to try that in the future. Mark Knudsen, Jay Buhner. Fantastic. Lloyd McClendon, Tim Cruz, Alfredo Griffin, John Wetland, Frank White, and Jose Gonzalez. So there's our 1990 score baseball cards. Let's do a pack of 93 score select. The green wrapper here, there could be a Derek Jeter rookie. We talked about looking for Derek Jeter before. There might be one in 1993 score select. Yeah, that shoulder pads card, it's not necessarily like guaranteed one per box. It's really the luck of the draw, and when you find it, it's so condition based. Like it might be a nice shape, it might come out like mine did. You never know. Moises Alou, rookie card though, from Score Select. Brian Williams, Scott Cooper, continuing on the rookies here. There's David Cohn. Excellent. Eric Wedge, considered a rookie prospect here, but what was it? 15 years later, ended up managing the Indians. Nice card for Wedgie. Benito Santiago. Always loved that he caught with his Oakleys on. That's cool. Willie Randolph. Tom Brunansky. Billy Hatcher. Chris Sabo. We knew he played with his glasses on. The Alhambra, great comment. The design reminds me of a pack of Newports. Mark Lewis, Sammy Sosa, Oral Hershiser, Roberto Kelly, and Mitch Williams, looking like a ninja. All right. No Bo Jackson. What can you do? Let's do, what can we do? A couple more puzzle pieces. We've got 7, 8, and 9 here are Lou Gehrig. And also we have the option for Rod Carew and, of course, Roberto Clemente. So we'll do Roberto for piece 9. Just so he's far apart from his other piece. We'll do Rod Carew here will be piece number 8. I didn't have one puzzle card from every set, so it won't necessarily be completely fully representative, but I'm doing the best I can. Here's our Lou Gehrig, and we're going to choose piece number 7 from Lou Gehrig. All the shrapnel coming off. All right, so our top row is done. There's our top row. 9 pieces from 9 different, well, some of them are the same set, but not necessarily contiguous, all trying for the variety here. All right, let's do some Donruss. We're going to do 93, Series 1 and Series 2. Portal 2099 says, I think there's a bow in the football set that's similar to the one in the baseball set. I think you're right for Score. I think they were really trying to get their mileage out of whatever license they bought, from Nike or whoever for that year. Pardon me while I wet my whistle a little bit. We got Mike Morgan, Pete Harnish, Orlando Merced. By the way, no puzzle pieces in Donruss for 1993. Orlando Merced, Bob Scanlon, Ozzie Canseco, no comment. A checklist card. It's cool. Dennis Eckersley, Al Osuna, Scott Cooper, Brett Butler, Tim Tuffle, Brett Butler again, Gerald Clark, and Mitch Webster. So that's Series 1, 93, Series 2, exact same design. That's right, Dunross. Dunross. If you watch Waxed Pack Dad, he's got a little jar where when he mispronounces Donruss, he throws some money in. There's another channel to subscribe to, High Heat Stats and Wax Pack Dad, if you're not already. Deion James, first card out of that pack. Joe Girardi, picked by the Rockies in the expansion draft. Nigel Wilson, again, rated rookie. Scott Chiamparino. These expansion draft cards, so exciting. Barry Bonds, I've heard of him. Nice throwback unis there. That's cool. Randy Johnson, I've heard of him too. If I'm not mistaken, that is Cleveland Municipal Stadium in the background. Excellent. Jose Vizcaino and cameo appearance by Gary Sheffield. It's fun. Jeff Hewson, Rob Maurer, rated rookie. Randy Tomlin, Joe Gray, Bill Gullickson, Todd Froworth. Nice capture of his weird delivery. It's like the ball's coming to you from his kneecap. And Pat Kelly. Now we got Randy Johnson and Barry Bonds out of those cards. We'll take that every time. What else? What else? Let's do 91 Fleer Ultra. We'll move these off to the side. Put our puzzle pieces back here. We got 91 Fleer Ultra, 14 cards, 1 sticker. Legendary Oriole, Todd Froworth. Tamper-proof pack. Detroit Tigers sticker, that's cool. But again, the only thing really cool about these logo stickers is the silver border around it. The sticker itself, super plain. If we were to peel this off, just looks like a regular sticker. Big whoop. Nice cards, though. Stadium Club completely redefined what an upscale baseball card should look like. But for when these came out, Fleer Ultra, not that bad. I love the silver ink, the full bleed left to right. Hal Morris leading off. Wade Boggs, very much alive. Jose Offerman. Wally Joyner. Greg Hibbard. Chris James. There's Molly. Paul Molitor. Great. Lance Parrish. As my friend Rob Opens Wax likes to say, check the stats. He's good. Yeah, he's not bad. There's Bo. Excellent. But a little smear there in the bottom corner. Oh, well, as we say on the channel, PC, not PSA. I'll take it. Roger Clemens, star studded. Alan Trammell, Hall of Fame studded. Look at that. Chris Hoyles, Pat Combs, and Al Newman. Really good pack here of 1991 Fleer Ultra based on the checklist or the players that we pulled out of it. Will it focus on the card in the front, or is it still locked onto the background here? Kind of locked onto the background. Pretty good. Pretty good. All right. Let's do soccer cards. We've done these before on the channel. This is Major Indoor Soccer League, the premier issue by Pacific Trading Cards, which tells us all we need to know about the kind of quality we can expect. Pacific, definitely a B-lister when it came to licensing and producing sports cards. And based on how I've opened these in the past, we've got 4 packs here of 12 cards apiece. I'm going to bet that the same 8 cards appear in each of these 4 packs. Just what I'm going to guess. Having been through these in the past. I was a big indoor soccer fan growing up. Watched a lot of Cleveland Force back in the day at the old Richfield Coliseum. We've got Preki. Tattoo, his MVP card. He's got a base card, but this is like his, he won the MVP for that season. He used to throw his jersey into the stands after scoring a goal. Dan L says, let's go Blizzard. That was the Buffalo Club, right? Keith Van Aaron, goalkeeper for the Baltimore Blast. Chico Bora. Alan Mayer, who wore a helmet. Brian Quinn. Mark Fredrickson, whose name was so long he doesn't even get a position. Tim Whitman. Thompson Usian. Tino Lettieri. He hung a mascot, like a stuffed parrot mascot he would hang back in the net. Tino Lettieri. Jan Goosens and Kevin Crow. We're going to do 4 packs of these just to emphasize the likelihood of doubles here. So Keith Van Aaron, again. Chico Borja again. Alan Mayer, he wore a helmet again. Brian Quinn again. Mark Fredrickson, his name was so long he doesn't even get a position again. Tim Whitman again. Thompson Uzian. Tino Lettieri, we talked about him. Jan Goosens. Kevin Crow. Jeff Cacciatore. Hey! And Chris Sobieski. The Polish wonder, Chris Sobieski. Matt Breaks Wax says, Baltimore Blast never made it to a game, but always heard they were exciting. The games themselves were exciting. I was a Cleveland Force fan growing up, and the Blast were like the arch rivals. So as far as I'm concerned, they sucked. The set was like 110 cards. 110 cards in the set. And we're already off to a great start with these doubles. Nebo Bandovic. Let's get to focus on the cards in my hand, not the cards on the table. Nebo Bandovic, Kevin Cooley. Those are all new. Kai Hoskevy, my hero as a Force fan, the coolest cucumber on the field. He'd score a goal, and instead of throwing his jersey into the stands, he would just look up at the clock to see what time it was in the game. Kai Hoskevy, one of my heroes. There's Preki again, is another double. Tattoo MVP card, we've seen that. Keith Van Aaron for the third time. Chico Borja for the third time. Alan Mayer for the third time. Brian Quinn for the third time. Mark Fredrickson for the third time. Tim Whitman for the third time. And Thompson Uzian. All right. Last pack of indoor soccer cards, and then we can move on to something less ridiculous. But really, legit fun to watch Kai Hoskevy play indoor soccer. To the point that if I had had a son, I would have lobbied hard to have him named Kai. All right, as we had hoped, as everybody had been hoping, we got 4 Keith Van Aarons out of 4 packs. We got our 4th Chico Borja, our 4th Alan Mayer, our 4th Brian Quinn, our 4th Mark Fredrickson, another Tim Whitman, another Thompson Uzian, another Tino Lettieri, another Jan Goosens, another Kevin Crow, another Jeff Cacciatore, and another Chris Sobieski. So collation, meaning not sequencing is the order that the cards come in. That was pretty predictable too, but also the collation, the way things are randomized. Not great. Not great among 1988 or 87, 88 Pacific MISL soccer cards. Thank you for indulging me. One of my legendary favorites. Let's move on. Let's do something better. Let's do 1991 Upper Deck. This is the Find the Nolan edition. Yeah, just a few doubles, Vinny. You're right. Just a few. This is the Find the Nolan edition. This is also where we can potentially find the Michael Jordan short print. No, Pacific, Dan L, to your point, was not listed in Beckett. Pacific was decidedly an off-brand when it came to baseball cards. Clearly an off-brand. Bruce Hurst there. Potentially selecting a game ball, probably looking at like one he needs to autograph. Bruce Hurst. Pascual Perez. Look at that. Look at that ice. Check that out. Mark Gubicza. All due respect to Mark Gubicza, I heard he's very good at signing through the mail. I mispronounce his name on purpose every time. It's a running joke with some friends of mine from high school. My goal is to send off a couple of Mark Gubicza cards to him for him to sign and then send back to them. So they won't be expecting it. They'll just in the mail get Brandon and Paul, if you're listening, ignore that. You might get some Mark Gubicza autographs coming up soon. Anyway, Mark Gubicza. Brian Harvey, interesting angle there. You don't often get a shot from what appears to be the Anaheim Stadium bullpen. Dan Howitt, Carl Rhodes, Jim Deshaies. Interesting wrist position there on his delivery. Dave Justice, right into the binder back in 1991. Excellent. Put him aside. There's Derek Lilliquist, Scott Lusader, the kid, Gary Carter with the Giants, Alfredo Griffin, our giant hologram sticker, the Angels logo. Hey. Dodgers team checklist featuring Ramon Martinez, Narciso Elvira. Narciso Elvira. I think one of you has left a comment before about Narciso Elvira, probably thinking that he's a really handsome guy. He really thinks of himself as a handsome guy. And Steve Wilson. Yeah, these hologram stickers are awesome. I talked about collation before, like the variety that you get in a box. Like I've had, 36 packs in a box. I've had a box where I get like 20 Pirates holograms all at once. But yeah, I love these. And I thought that they were just the coolest thing back in the day. Inadvertent mirror. That's right. More. I have appeared more in this live rip than I have in all of my episodes before combined. Let's talk about 1987 Donruss. Roberto Clemente puzzle and cards. We've got that Roberto Clemente puzzle working here on screen. Let's instead talk about the cards inside. Will Clark, Barry Bonds, Barry Larkin, Mark McGwire, others that we can get. There we go. We've got doubles already. Pieces 4, 5, and 6. Mike Scott, absolute legend in 1987. Coming off 306 strikeouts in 275 innings pitched. Unreal. Bo Jackson, thank you, AA. Stan Jefferson. I didn't mean to overlook Bo Jackson among rookies in 1987. Gene Walter, Vince Coleman, Dave Righetti. We know what he eats. Len Dykstra, Johnny Grubb, Tom Candiotti. He eats candy. John Russell, Tony Fernandez, R.I.P. Tony Fernandez. Danny Cox, Dale Swam, John Cangelosi, a tiny man, but very quick. 5'8", 150 pounds, 50 steals. How about that? Kevin McReynolds, Diamond King, and Nate Snell in our 87 Donruss. Cool. Let's do in Donruss. I'll clean off my table a little bit. Got 89 Donruss here. Maybe the Ken Griffey Jr., maybe the Randy Johnson. I think I found the Randy Johnson out of this box in an episode a few days ago, but it had a weird ink defect on it. So very useful. Warren Spahn, the puzzle out of 89. Donruss, I'm sure he's represented somewhere in the stack. We'll get to those in just a moment. Dante Bichette. Alex Sanchez, rated rookie. Bobby Witt. Rick Sutcliffe. Ken Griffey Jr. How about that? How about it? I mean, off center, but still. I'll take that every day. Every day, Ken Griffey Jr. Scott May, Tony Pena wearing the world's biggest turtleneck. Gary Sheffield, rated rookie. Fantastic. Pete O'Brien, Ryne Sandberg, another rated rookie, Carlos Quintana. Jay Howell, Greg Maddux, Lance Johnson, and Dave Spaghetti. What a pack. All of them, like with this blue to purple gradient top, was a great, great sign. And out of this one pack, Greg Maddux and Ryne Sandberg. I don't know, do Cubs fans consider Greg Maddux a Cubs legend? Gary Sheffield and Ken Griffey Jr. Fantastic. What a pack. All right. We'll do a couple more puzzle pieces here. We got 3 more sets to work from. Pieces 10, 11, and 12 from Rod Carew, Lou Gehrig, and Yogi Berra. We're going to try to mix them up as best we can so that they don't match. We got this end piece is already Rod Carew, so we'll do the outside piece now from Yogi Berra. Little by little, as we go through this, we'll have the entire set assembled. We'll do a center piece from Rod Carew. Again, the goal here is to have no 2 pieces contiguous from the same set. Rod Carew will not touch Rod Carew. Yogi Berra will not touch Yogi Berra. Roberto Clemente will not touch Roberto Clemente, etc., because we know that all the pieces from year to year, set to set, are interchangeable. All right, there's another 3 pieces to that puzzle. We'll do 3 more with Roberto Clemente, Lou Gehrig, and Harmon Killebrew. So we're going to pick, we can't do Roberto there, and we can't do Gehrig there, so we're going to have to do Harmon Killebrew there. This is turning into much more math than I expected. We'll do Lou Gehrig, nice headshot there in the middle. Oh, no, we have to use Roberto because we can't use Roberto there. Because then that would be Roberto touching Roberto, and that defies the entire point. All right, we continue on. And 16, 17, 18, we have the options of Warren Spahn, Carl Yastrzemski, and Lou Gehrig. We just did Lou Gehrig on the edge, so we can't do him on that edge. We'll do Warren Spahn on the edge. We'll do Lou Gehrig in the middle. And we will do Warren Spahn. Yeah, Yastrzemski, Gehrig, Spahn. I know what I'm doing. Trust me. I'm as close to being a professional as you can get at this. Let's do some Leaf set. Let's do 1992 Leaf, Series 1 and Series 2, back to back. Raparu says, these don't seem to fit that well. They might fit better if I were being more careful and cautious about it. I'm really going fast. I'm trying not to devote too much time to putting the puzzle together, to be honest. Scott Livingstone. No, the pieces do, they will all fit together. It's just that they're kind of flimsy. And even like if we had like all the Willie Stargells together, they don't necessarily hold together all that well. I guarantee you all the pieces will join together in a meaningful way. Scott Livingstone starts us off. Our black gold card is Brett Main. Got Ricky Henderson stealing a base or having stolen a base, as he should always be pictured. Great card. We continue with Gerald Perry, Jay Buhner, Rob Dibble. Got to flip over to see Russ Swan, Darren Fletcher, Tony Fernandez, Scott Cooper, Gary Scott, Harold Reynolds. He's the one with 2 hats on, not the defender, and certainly not the umpire's butt. Tim Burke, Phil Plantier, and Jeff Brantley. That's Series 1 from 1992 Leaf. Here's Series 2. Exact same design, just broken up into Series 1 and Series 2. We've got Pete Incaviglia, swinging hard. Black gold card. Let's see. We'll flip some of these around. Black gold is Ken Patterson. I saw somewhere on the internet a listing for the full set of black gold cards. Looked really cool. Out of my budget, but would have been a fun thing to try to build back in the day. Ken Patterson, Wally Joyner, Ivan Calderon, Jose Oquendo, Jim Eisenreich, Mitch Williams, Mike Boddicker, Chris Nabholz, Lee Guterman. Here's John Kruk featuring Kirk Gibson, Joe Slusarski, Bob Scanlon, Wally Ritchie, and Andres Galarraga. What a story he had for his career. Fantastic player, underrated in my opinion. Perennial all-star. Sometimes bumping Will Clark out of all-star cards. I'm thinking about 88 tops. Andres Galarraga. Nice. All right. We'll do another row of puzzle pieces here. I have to figure out what I did. Oh, I didn't do anything with them. They're just hiding under a stack of wrappers. Pieces 19, 20, and 21 are Hank Aaron, Rod Carew, and Carl Yastrzemski. We'll do Henry Aaron on the far left. I think the pieces would go better together if they weren't just like isolated. They just don't stick together very well. What can you do? No, I can't do Rod Carew in the middle because I already have Rod Carew in the middle. I have to do Carl Yastrzemski in the middle. Trying to mix it up. Trying to Franken puzzle this to the best of my ability where no two pieces from the same set touch. That's the whole goal. That's what this is all about. And I'm making a shambles of my desktop doing it. All right. Let's do some 90. If you've got requests, shout them out. If I've got them, I'll open them. Let me know. 92 score, Series 1 and Series 2. I don't know how anybody could resist a special consumer offer. There's nothing I love more than being called a consumer. Let's do Series 1 from 92 score. I've got 88 Leaf on deck. I've got some 92 Stadium Club. I've got 93 Upper Deck. All of that and more on the way. Robin Ventura starts off this pack. Danny Darwin, Jeff Treadway. There's Jim Eisenreich again. Walt Terrell, Joe Oliver, Jerry Don Gleaton, friend of the channel. Jerry, well, he's not really a friend of the channel favorite, I should say. I like getting his Donruss card, revealing that his full name is indeed Jerry Don Gleaton. Dan L says, looking forward to 93 Leaf. Guess what? Guess what I have? Henry Cotto, Tim Cruz, Bill Gullickson, Sammy Sosa with a flat top. Look at that. Chris James, the Hawk, Andre Dawson, fantastic. Joe Carter. Back when Indians fans had very little to cheer for, Joe Carter was there. Vince Coleman and Calvosky Daniels. All right, let's do Series 2 from the same year. Any 84 tops? Unfortunately, no. I opened a rack pack of 84 tops not too long ago on the channel. I don't have any at the moment. I wish I did have more. I love that set. I love the design. I love going after the Don Mattingly rookie card. And if I had 84 tops AA, I would do it for you in a second. Cal Eldred, Bob Zupchik, Cliff Brantley, Jarvis Brown, Mike Bordick, John Barfield, Joe Girardi, Paul McClellan, Sean Dunston. Here's Hall of Famer George Brett. Fantastic. Mike Schooler, Rod Nichols, Joe Orsulak, Glenn Allen Hill, Rick Honeycutt, and Lloyd Mosby. Dan L says, Joe Carter is my PC guy. Curious, why Joe Carter? If you grew up an Indians fan, I can understand that. If you grew up in Toronto or a Blue Jays fan, one of the most iconic Blue Jays hits ever, I can understand that. BS Channel 37 says 92 Donruss. Coming right up. All right. Let's get our 88 Leaf out of the way first. This puzzle pieces in Leaf are exactly the same as what you would have gotten out of Donruss. I don't have a P.O. box. When people direct mail me, I've just been giving my home address. It's risky, but yeah, it's what I've got. I might get a P.O. box, but they're weirdly expensive. And I just don't get that much like viewer mail. So I haven't necessarily thought it worth the investment. Puzzle piece, again, Stan Musial, exactly the same as what you would have gotten out of bog standard Donruss. Jays were your T-ball team, became your favorite. Makes sense. Absolutely makes sense. Terry Kennedy is our Leaf card. Exactly the same, basically, in design as 88 Donruss, except you got the Leaf word mark there in the corner. And, of course, things in French on the back. Terry Kennedy, Wally Joyner, Robin Yount, hashtag Royo, excellent. Tim Raines, Diamond King, cool. Ozzie Smith, excellent. Jeff Musselman. Vinny G says, not a DM kind of person. Junkwaxgenius@gmail.com. You don't necessarily need like DMs through YouTube or whatever, but if you want to send a message, and I need to do better, honestly, in checking that account, but junkwaxgenius@gmail.com. I'll check email. Bill Doran, Gino Petrali, Buddy Bell, and Ron Kittle as a Yankee. Nice pack. Ozzie Smith, Tim Raines, Diamond King, Robin Yount. We'll take those. And there's our puzzle. We've already got pieces 34, 35, and 36 accounted for, so no need to have that. We'll do a second pack here of 88 Leaf. Thanks, everybody, for sticking with me. We're up to an hour and a half on this one. Not to mention like the technical delay of me getting my show on the road in the first place, so to speak. So thank you for being with me for this, and plenty more to come. Casey Candale here starts us off in 88 Leaf. Oddibe McDowell, Mike Kingery, Mike Scott, Todd Benzinger, Roberto Alomar, rated rookie. Looks more like a mugshot than a baseball card. Rob Thompson, a Diamond Kings checklist. Exciting. Bobby Bonilla and Rick Leach. 88 Leaf, looking a lot like 88 Donruss. I heard a shout out earlier for 93 Leaf. Let's do it. I love this design. I love this set. This is Series 2, 14 cards. Kind of, I can feel that they're sticking a little bit. You get Leaf and Frank Thomas. Some charitable card or charitable action here. How about that? Good man, Frank Thomas. Let's see what we get. I love this design. Just gorgeous cards. Absolutely beautiful. Restrained use of the gold foil. Love the ribbon there with the seal. Ellis Burks starts us off. There's the back of the card featuring the team logo and kind of hologram foil, rainbow foil. Ellis Burks. Joe Table. Frank Tanana. Domingo Martinez. Vinny G, I'll pop my email into the episode description and things like that when I wrap up. Thank you for asking, though. I really do appreciate that. Domingo Martinez. What do they use for Toronto Skyline? I got to take somebody's word for it. When it's like anything but the CN Tower, I don't know what Toronto skyline looks like. I'll take your word for it. Carlos Martinez. I know the Cleveland skyline. What did they use there? I guess I wouldn't necessarily call any of those iconic towers of the Cleveland skyline. Carlos Martinez, Dave Nilsson, Tom Brunansky, Kirk Gibson, back with the Tigers. Mark McGwire, a slugger of some renown. Oh, they chose the bridge. Cool. All right. Mike Stanton. There's Bo Jackson. We know and appreciate Bo Jackson. Clearly Chicago. Excellent. Love that. Steve Finley. Ryan Sandberg and Carlos Baerga, a couple all-star second basemen. And they used the same skyline for Ryan Sandberg as they used for Bo Jackson. How about that? I mean, clearly, undeniably Chicago. That's cool. All right. We heard another shout out for 92 Donruss, one of the channel favorites, 92 Donruss. We'll get to those after we do 1990 Donruss. These are the win instantly marked packs. These are the packs that were among the first produced in 1990 for Donruss and more likely to have errors and variations. There are reverse image photos for the Brian Downing Diamond King and for the Juan Gonzalez base card. You have switched backs for Nolan Ryan, 5,000 strikeouts and King of Kings. You have the all-star cards that say recent Major League performance on them. There's a nice shot of Carl Yastrzemski's chin. And we can all practice reading our cursive together. Felix Fermin. Here's Mark McGwire again. Cool. Luis Aquino. Ruben Sierra. A Ben McDonald rated rookie. Excellent. Rafael Palmeiro. Cool. Tim Wallach. Mike Moore. Charlie Liebrandt. Pete O'Brien. Alfredo Griffin. Don Mattingly. Love it. Roger Clemens. Matt Noakes. BJ Surhoff. And Pedro Guerrero team MVP card. Mattingly and Clemens. If you had told me in 1990 that neither one of them would be in the Hall of Fame in 2025, I would have thought you were pulling my leg. The pride of Evansville, Indiana. Don Mattingly. And Roger Clemens, maybe the best pitcher to come out of Dayton, but Mike Schmidt, also from Dayton, Ohio. Also from Dayton, Ohio, Bob Pollard from Guided by Voices, who threw a no-hitter when he was in college. So maybe not guaranteed the best baseball player ever to come from Dayton. Nobody ever thinks of Roger Clemens being from Ohio, by the way. I see the ink comment from Dan L. Some of them might have the dot after INC. Some of them may not. That is, in my opinion, a variation and not a legit error. You may go on like eBay or whatever, and you see no dot after INC. It's not really an error so much as it is just a variation in the printing. As far as I'm aware, and has been reinforced a million times, no dot after INC or dot after INC, neither one of them is more valuable than the other, just a weird one-off printing defect. All right. We'll do a couple more puzzle pieces, then we'll get back into cards. Is that possibly right? Stargell, Clemente, Clemente. All right, so we'll go Clemente, Stargell, Clemente. Nancy Cartwright, voice of Bart Simpson, Dayton, Ohioan. True. Also home of the Breeders, one of my favorite alternative rock bands from the 90s and today, for that matter. Kim Deal, Sister Kelly, possibly others in the band from Dayton, Ohio. So it's going to look like these are the same pieces because we've got a couple of pirates here, Stargell and Clemente, that we are kind of welding together. But believe you me, no two pieces are going to be from the same set, same puzzle. All right, we're going to finish this row, and then we can move on. We'll go with pieces 25, 26, 27, Carew, Clemente, and Stargell again. This is going to get difficult. This is harder than I thought. I don't have quite as much variety as I assumed I did when I began this weird little project. And it is nothing if not weird to put together a Donruss puzzle where no two pieces that touch each other are from the same set. They're not snapping together like a child's puzzle, but I'll fine tune it when we get to the end. They all fit together. You got to trust me. All right, let's do those 92 Donruss. Among my favorite sets of all time, 1992 Donruss. Series 1 still includes puzzle pieces. 92, what do you notice on the wrapper? Just baseball cards. They all, quote unquote, fit together. Yeah, it's true. Local H from Dayton? I don't know. I thought Local H was Chicago. But depending on where you're from, Dayton and Chicago might as well be the same city. I'm not saying that they're the same city. I'm saying that some people might think that Chicago is the same as Dayton or Columbus or Cleveland or whatever. Gary Gaetti starts us off. John Morris, Casey Candale, Dale Murphy with the Phillies. There's the Terminator, Tom Henke. Mr. Perfect, Tom Browning. Rest in peace, by the way. Another Reds legend, Paul O'Neill. Son of Cincinnati, or son of Columbus, I should say. I knew he was an Ohioan. Cal Ripken All-Star card. Kevin Brown. Nice. Chris Sabo, continuing on with these Reds hits. Look at that. Dave Magadan. Benito Santiago. Wade Boggs All-Star card. Mario Diaz. Robin Ventura. And our puzzle, Rod Carew. Don't need it. I'll put it off to the side. Chuck Finley comments, Dale Murphy on the Phillies is like baseball sacrilege to me. Yeah, one of those things where, you know, a guy was so identified with one team for so long, and then he ends up somewhere else. Awkward, to say the least. Series 2, 15 cards. No puzzle pieces in this one. Thanks for sticking with me. Coming up on an hour and 45 minutes of this episode. There's the Benito Santiago All-Star card. Cool. A checklist. It's card 784. And there is card 784. I have it. I have this checklist card. I do have a pen handy. Got it. Reggie Harris, Carney Lansford, Mike Humphreys, Jack Armstrong. It says Indians pitcher, but he's clearly wearing a Reds uniform. I know that he and Scott Scudder got traded, I think, at the same time to the Indians. Yeah, for Greg Swindell. Steve Lyons, Jim Lindemann, Terry Matthews, Doug Simons, Ted Wood, Scott Livingstone, Chris Gardner, rated rookie, Colorado Rockies team card, hilarious, and Mike Bilecki. I just love 92 Donruss. I love the portrait right in the center of the back. I love the metallic silver ink that changes in the light. It's great. And yes, checklist cardception, where card 784 appears on itself. I got it. I can prove it. 92 Donruss, always fun. Keep those shout outs coming. More requests. Any more that you'd like to see? I've got a legend here. Let's do 87 tops, 17 bubblegum cards, 1 stick of gum. You know the deal. They're not printed on bubblegum. They're printed on cardstock. Chew them at your own risk. Was Dale Murphy drafted by the Phillies? I see that question a little too late. I've already put that stack down, and I can go, maybe I'll see what I can find. Spring Fever Baseball Contest, long over. We've got Steve Sachs, Ed Romero, hoping for Will Clark, Bo Jackson. I'm not going to forget to mention Bo Jackson here. George Hendrick, really two-hatting it. He's got his ball cap on under the batting helmet. The old two hats. George Hendrick, Steve Buechele, Ed Wona, Ed Vandenberg, Chris Chambliss, Jim Traber, Chico Walker, Bryn Smith, Sammy Stewart. There's a guy with a sad backstory, Sammy Stewart. Thad Bosley, Cousin Dave Stapleton, Chris Spire, Ron Oster, Rafael Belliard, and Chuck Carey. There's our 87 tops. None of the superstars, great rookies. What can you do? You get what you get. You don't get upset. Let's see if I can find that Dale Murphy again. And I believe they should have the bio information that will tell us if he was drafted by the Phillies. Did I put him aside? I did. I put Dale Murphy in the short stack. So Dale Murphy. No, I don't think it says how he was drafted, just how he was acquired. Entirely possible that Dale Murphy was drafted by the Phillies. How could we ever find out? It's not on the back of a baseball card. Who can say? Let's do one of my favorites, 96 Fleer, the most recent pack that we're going to open today. 96 Fleer, 11 baseball cards. I really appreciate the non-glossy. I really appreciate the matte finish on these cards. They say perfect for autographs. I say perfect for not bricking together. Let's see what we got. This pack is difficult to open. There's tamper-proof, and then there's intentionally open-proof. Our official game card. Thanks a million, $1 million hit. We've got a glossy card, actually 2 glossy cards, 3 glossy cards out of this pack. Scott Stahoviak. A glossy card. Tomorrow's Legends, Garrett Anderson. Actually went on to have a pretty good major league career. Garrett Anderson. That's cool. And for some reason, the checklist cards are glossy too. What's better than a checklist? A glossy checklist. This one featuring Cal Ripken Jr. on the front. How about that? Michael Wallace and Chuck Finley, both of them confirming Dale Murphy was drafted by the Braves way back when, 1974. Predates me. No wonder I didn't remember. Eddie Taubensee, John Smiley. Hey. Alhambra. I'm looking at you. John Smiley. There's Todd Zeal with the Cubs. How do you go from the Cards to the Cubs, Todd Zeal? How do you do that? Steve Traxel. Ozzie Timmons. Eddie Williams. Fernando with the Padres. And Kevin Young. Okay, I guess Fernando is just I love that they have him swinging a bat on the back of the card. But I guess he bounced around a lot. So after leaving the Dodgers, he played 4 different teams in 4 consecutive seasons: the Angels, the Orioles, the Phillies, and the Padres to wrap up. Maybe that wrapped up his career. I had no idea that Fernando played for the Padres. No idea. Do I have a coin on my desk? I don't. Maybe a paperclip will work. That's completely illegible. I'm going to guess that's a T. An instant win. Is it really instant if this happens 29 years after the fact? You know, the old 29-year instant delay? Yeah, illegible. Sorry, we tried. But at any rate, yeah, checklist more just like a list because I don't see any boxes for me to check off. What good is that? But still, that's cool. Building the set, card by card, 96 Fleer. All right, let's continue on with more. Oh, by the way, John Smiley. John Smiley, he's here. Let's continue on. We'll just get this done so that everybody can go on with what they're doing. Our pieces here, by the way, 28, 29, and 30. For those of you scoring at home, we're up to 28, 29, and 30. Or, as Keith Olbermann used to say, if you're by yourself, if you're scoring at home, or if you're by yourself. Let's see, who else do we have here for this next set? Can't do Roberto Clemente right in the middle. We've got Yastrzemski, Clemente, and Gehrig. Let's do Clemente. Let's do the chin of Carl Yastrzemski. Right in the middle. And the right side for Lou Gehrig. And we've got Yastrzemski, Gehrig, and 81 baseball Donruss great moments. Okay. I think here we can go with that piece. Some of these are thicker than others, like more cardboardy, and others are like very flimsy card stock. Might have a lot to do with why some of you think that these pieces aren't actually fitting together. What did I do? Skipped one. Yeah, I was trying to pull two centerpieces there. I don't need two centerpieces. I need that one. Oh, we'll figure it out. We'll figure it out. All right, let's move on. Let's keep opening baseball cards. Another one of these 91 Upper Decks. Oh, Jay's up 6-2 in the seventh. Thank you for the score update. I appreciate that. We're going to continue on with 91 Upper Deck. Rich Rodriguez, Dan Gladden, Chris Bosio, Jose Vizcaino, Joe Baver, Pete Incaviglia, Ron Karkovice, Hal Morris, Greg Brock, Gary Pettis. Here's Todd Zeile with the Cardinals. That makes more sense. Tony Phillips, underrated, in my opinion. There's our giant stickers, the Astros. Marty Barrett. I didn't think that I would have an issue with Upper Deck for this year, but if you watch the channel, you know that when they use a horizontal photo, I want a horizontal layout, not the same vertical layout with the horizontal photo stitched in, because now it looks like Marty Barrett and whoever that base runner is are just like falling on their face. A star rookie checklist. It's card number 1. I don't know if I have card number 1, though. And Kevin Mitchell. How about that? 91 Upper Deck. Still no Jordans. We soldier on. All right. I don't know what I did to I'm missing a piece here. I don't know where that missing piece went or came from. So I'm trying to figure it out. Ah, there it is. There we go. All right. Now we're back on pace. Yeah, a Donruss Picasso or a Dunross Picasso. I can't even say it wrong. Friend of the channel, Wax Pack Dad, has a hard time saying it right. I have a hard time intentionally screwing it up. All right, we're working through. Believe it or not, all of these pieces do fit together. It looks like a mess. Kind of intentional that we're doing it that way. All right, let's do 91 Score, Series 1 and Series 2. Thanks again as we come up on 2 hours of this for being with me, staying tuned, or coming and going, whatever fits your schedule. I appreciate the participation. Paul Molitor starts us off. Mike Scott, Chris Bosio. See, this is what I mean by landscape photo, landscape layout. Harold Reynolds, good example. Paul Abbott, Bill Hasselman, a first-round draft pick card for the Moose. Mike Messina, excellent. Ricky Henderson, Big Head All-Star, cool. Kevin Apier, great windup. Mike Hartley, Rob Deere, Mike Boddicker. These tiles aren't sticking, mercifully. Here's Kirby Puckett, cool. Jeff Robinson, Tom Gordon, and Willie Randolph. Big fan of Score from these years. Turkey Bucket. There is eventually a bottom to the puzzle. There will be a bottom left and a bottom right corner. It does not go on. It could go on forever. I wonder if it could. Oh, that's a good idea. Daniel B., is there a bottom to this puzzle, or does it go on forever? I wonder if there's like a repeating pattern here where I could make it go on forever. Oh, you guys don't know what you've done. You don't know what you've done. Kirby Puckett. So even for a guy at this point with a good several years under his belt, lots of bio information. Nice card for Kirby Puckett. Let's do Series 2. Maybe the Mickey Mantle cards. Let's find out together. Yeah, I think 91 was peak collecting for me too. I did know that, as I mentioned earlier, I couldn't find Stadium Club anywhere, so my consolation prize was buying so much 1991 score, especially Series 2, that it's just everywhere. Pete Harnish, Tony Gwynn, fantastic. Ruben Sierra, Mark Williamson, Joel Skinner, John Candelaria, Ed Whitson, Jim Presley, No Hit Club for our friend Fernando, who we reviewed a moment ago, Geronimo Pena, Efrain Valdez, rookie prospect, Stars and Stripes. How about that? Desert Storm. They pray for peace throughout the world. How about that? Trivia card, trivia tile, not sticking it. Okay, we'll do this World Series trivia. Oh, no, it's not even a question. It's more informative. There you go. 5 in a row. Ernest Riles, Tony Fassis, Bob Kipper, and Kelly Downs. We got Tony Gwynn. We got the American flag. Everybody stand up, recite the Pledge of Allegiance. Isn't that what we have to do? Anyway, that's cool. I'll take it. We'll do a couple more panels of puzzle here. We're up to, let's see, the next 3 are going to be 37, 38, and 39 interchangeably. We've got Stan Musial, Carl Yastrzemski, and Yogi Berra. I think we can do any of these in any spot. We'll do Yogi right in the middle. Like I said, some of these are more substantial than others. For some reason, the card stock that the puzzle pieces are printed on is occasionally really thick, and sometimes it's just like whisper thin. And believe you me, these are all going to fit together as if they were meant to be by the time we get through it. We've got Harmon Killebrew, more Yogi Berra, and Hank Aaron. We're going to go with Hank Aaron's crotch. We will pull Yogi Berra from the left. Again, thank you for bearing with me as you watch a grown man pull puzzle pieces apart on YouTube. I had an idea of doing this just as a special, but doing it time lapse so everything would come together really quickly. I don't know why I chose against that. In hindsight, that seems like the better choice. But then I would have denied all of you the opportunity to have missed history being made. And our last 3 of this row, Stan Musial, Warren Spahn, and Roberto Clemente again. So we will go with Stan. We'll go with Roberto. And we will go with Warren. The Warren Spahn pieces in particular feel really thin. What else do we have here on the table? We've got 88 score. Hammer and Hank's Hammer? I'll take your word for it. I don't know. Ridiculous. Ridiculous. Ray Knight starts us off. Dennis Eckersley, cool. Don Mattingly, even better. No offense, Dennis. Dennis Boyd, a couple of Dennises. Jack Howell. Do you remember Busch Stadium, October 2nd, 1968? I don't. Oh, Bob Gibson. Makes sense. Dan Quisenberry. Love that. Got to have that follow through of his weird delivery. Terry Poole. Channel favorite John Smiley. Alhambra. I hope you're still with us. Greg Nettles. Mike Dunn. Jack Lazorko. Eric King. I don't know why those two are upside down, but it's Mookie Wilson and Bob Melvin, Les Lancaster, Harry Spillman, and Floyd Bannister. Just great cards. Great design overall. Action photos on the front, saving the portrait for the back. Enough stats to tell the story, and then enough bio to tell even more of a story. Love it. Let's do 87 Fleer. 87 Fleer. Bought this box at a card show from a dealer I didn't know and hoped that the box had not been searched. And in the very first pack that I opened, on camera, by the way, you can go back and see this video, got the Bo Jackson rookie card. So very confident the box had not been searched. Our Pirates logo is the sticker. We've got Tony Armas, Roger Clemens, nice. Greg Nettles, Tim Hewlett, Chris Bando, Mike Flanagan, Rafael Ramirez, Mark Davis, Gary Gaetti. You can really get a sense of why Score and their emphasis on action photos was so important. When you see a set like 87 Fleer and you see how many guys are just like standing at BP, like Gary Gaetti and Tony Armas, or Larry Herndon, Pat Clements, at least an action shot. There's Eddie Murray, staged, better than others. Rick Sutcliffe, Mike Moore, Ed Romero, Ed Correa, and Tony Pena. Not terrible as 87 Fleer goes. Red Sox cards look pretty good in this color scheme. Not bad. All right. We'll do another row of puzzle pieces. This time our three choices are Stan Musial, Warren Spahn, and Roberto Clemente. Can't do him there because that's going to be the same puzzle. So we'll do Roberto. Again, if you're just joining us, building a Franken puzzle of Donruss puzzle pieces because year after year, the puzzle pieces are interchangeable based on their number. And you can mix and match to your heart's delight or to your annoyance while you're watching some other guy do it on YouTube in real time. All right, this center section of this row, Rod Carew, Hank Aaron, and Yogi Berra. We've already got that Hank Aaron there right under Hank's hammer, so we won't do him in the middle. We'll do him off to the left. We cannot escape that part of Hank Aaron's puzzle piece. We'll do the lower neck, I suppose, for Rod Carew. And whenever I hear his name, I feel like I have to say it like Adam Sandler in the Hanukkah song that he wrote. Hall of Famer, Rod Carew. Because my brain is rotten with pop culture references from the early 90s. Just am who I am. Nothing I can do about it. All right, three more here. Pieces 52, 53, and 54 for Roberto Clemente, Carl Yastrzemski, and Lou Gehrig. Let's see, I know there's Roberto Clemente right there, so we can't use him there. He'll be the outside edge. And we will pull Lou Gehrig on the left. And Carl Yastrzemski's in the middle. Is it more exciting to watch me pop them out on camera? I just realized the camera wasn't picking those up. Anyway, this is the whole thing. I haven't snapped it firmly and fully together, but you can kind of see what we're going for here, where we're assembling a full Donruss puzzle where no two pieces touching are from the same set. Almost done. Almost done. Let's do 92 Fleer. 17 cards. Big step up from 91 to 92. Oh, yeah. The Beastie Boys got mad hits like Rod Carew. That one too. Yep. Scott Bales is the first player out of this pack. You can kind of get the sense of the gradient in the card coloring here. Scott Bales, Steve Finley, Steve Searcy, Gary Varsho, Bernie Williams, excellent. Greg Harris. Yeah, the ink really does seem to move when I tilt it in different parts of the light. Jeff Reed, Joe Hesketh, Rich Gedman, Frank Castillo, Brooke Jacoby, Darren Lewis, Mike Mussina. There's a black border card in there. Let's look for that. No slouch, though, there for Moose. Derek May. Got to get that just right in the light. That's a Tom Glavine, Fleer All-Star. Nice card. Great gloss. Beautiful. Spike Owen and Charlie Liebrandt. Some comments about thinking these pieces don't quite fit together the right way. Some of them do look like corner pieces, but the puzzles themselves sometimes have little like inset boxes. So while this one might look like it's the bottom of the puzzle, in fact, it is not. There's just a little Roberto Clemente portrait box. I assure you there's more to come. Let's do 55, 56, and 57 from Spawn, from Clemente, see, that can't be the bottom of Roberto Clemente if this is the bottom of Roberto Clemente. And there's Willie Stargell. We are working on the bottom row, by the by. We're almost done with that. And then you guys can log off knowing that you've seen history, completely pointless history, but history nonetheless, made on YouTube. Hank Aaron, Rod Carew, Yogi Berra. Completely pointless. Why anybody is doing this, using like bandwidth and data and having this be preserved indefinitely, if not forever, on YouTube. Boy, this is what technology is for. If I had told a college professor that I was going to assemble a puzzle of baseball cards in front of potentially an international audience at 11 p.m. local time, he would have laughed me out of the classroom. All right, almost done. Last three segments. Last three segments. We've got Warren Spahn, Rod Carew, Lou Gehrig. Let's do it. Warren Spahn. Rod Carew. He's got more action than my man John Woo. And he's got mad hits like he was Rod Carew. And this is the final piece. Piece number 63, coming to us from the Lou Gehrig puzzle. That's it. That's everybody. The camera angle might not be wide enough to capture it all, but I guarantee you, I'll assemble it in a different photo, different video. It's all here. The whole thing, top to bottom, start to finish, the ultimate Franken puzzle. I see a request for 88, 89 Upper Deck to close out. I wish I had it. If I had it, I would. Let's do two packs to finish out. Let's do the Yellow Monster, 91 Fleer, and then we'll do a jumbo pack of 93 Upper Deck. Series 1. Pre-priced for our convenience. All right. Thank you for watching. We're at well past 2 hours at this point. I really appreciate you guys sticking around. I don't know that I would have been doing this anyways. Probably not for 2 hours. But I do open packs just for my own hobby, and I love sharing it. So thank you for being here. Phillies, there's the logo sticker. No black border, so no Provision, but not a full wipeout. We got Greg Jeffries, channel favorite Greg Jeffries, Henry Cotto, Hector Villanueva, Steve Bedrosian, who does not have a beard in that one. I wonder if the Giants had a policy. The Reds had a policy. Here's Tom Browning, Mr. Perfect, Ricky Jordan, Gerald Young, Mel Rojas, Mike Devereaux, Gary Wayne, Rafael Belliard, Ramon Martinez, Ken Williams, and Andy Hawkins. They're that yellow. You guys don't need to adjust your sets. They really are this yellow. Double A. Don't put your masterpiece in the Louvre. It'll get stolen. Yes. If you didn't see the news, a brazen theft at the Louvre today where they were closed all day because thieves broke in and stole priceless artifacts, priceless works of art, wielding chainsaws. Wow. Somebody already owns the movie rights to that story. Daniel B., thanks to you, Modern Prometheus. Wow. I didn't think there'd be a Prometheus reference in today's chat. I'll take it. And the next MC Escher, fantastic. I'm getting caught up on comments here. Thank you. Thanks, everybody. All right. We're going to close with the jumbo pack, 93 Upper Deck, Series 1, 23 cards, each one holographically enhanced. Let's see if I can get a clean rip here down the side. That's very satisfying. Oh, that's nice. Look at that. Right down the seam. Fabulous. All right. Again, thank you for joining me tonight. It happens to be my birthday. This is how I wanted to spend the evening. So thanks, everybody, for being here, being a part of it. I really do appreciate it. And 2 more packs tomorrow. Ryan Thompson. Landscape card for Ricky Bonus. Thanks, everybody. I didn't say it to, 91 Fleer, precursor to the Savannah Bananas. Yes. Jose Canseco, rocking the Oakleys. Great vivid blue in those Texas uniforms. Willie Green, star rookie card. Thank you, guys. I appreciate it. Greg Colbrin in the batting cage. Dave Martinez. There's Ken Caminiti falling backwards in pursuit of what I assume is a foul ball. Charlie Huff, the ancient, the ageless Charlie Huff. 803 games, 385 starts. Amazing. There's Stan Javier featuring a cameo from Will Clark. Two guys wearing number 22 in that photo. Derek May. There's Jeff King. Love this design. Cannot say enough nice things about it. Luis Polonia. The only thing I would change is the font that the player's name is in, because this one to me looks a lot like, it's called Mistral. That came for free with PCs for years and years. Here's Darren Lewis. Here's Darren Lewis again. In case you didn't get enough of him the first time, double Darren Lewis. Fielding his position, Cousin Tere Penleton. Hello, my name is Cousin Tere Penleton. A little bricking. Maybe I should have got out the hairdryer. Orlando Merced. Nice action shot. The fans are excited. Hey, how about that? Duck and cover. Ryan Sandberg. Reaching up for that one. Nice shot for Rhino. Love that. Pedro Astacio. There's George Brett. Notably not rubbing pine tar on the bat. Nice card for George Brett. That's cool. Kevin Apier. Oh, we talked about him before. It's Dale Murphy again. Community hero, Dale Murphy. He should be named the honorary chairman of honorary chairmen. Good for him. He cares the most. Good for you, Dale Murphy. David Need. And we end with home run heroes for Eric Karros. Can't tell if the camera will pick that up, but a little embossed, debossed action where this bat is, so that when it's, there's actually a little bit of, there you go. You can kind of see it in that light. A little bit of wood grain texture there on the bat. There you have it. 2.5 hours later, we've put together the Franken puzzle. We've opened a ton of baseball cards, a few soccer cards, some football even, and found some winners. This is Junk Wax Genius. It's the channel on YouTube where we open old baseball cards and talk about it. Thank you for being with me tonight. I love it, you guys. Thanks for being with me. And we'll see you tomorrow. 2 more packs back on the channel. I appreciate it. Thanks for your time, and have a great night.